It's hard to put into words how badly Red Bull's season has gone so far this year. Driver changes, declining performance, and some disastrous point hauls have turned the team that produced the most dominant season in the sport's history just a year and a half ago into just another F1 team. With new regulations coming next season and a serious second seat problem that Red Bull can't find the answer to, the team have a lot of work to do if they want to compete for titles again next year. They've been making some very telling moves in the drivers' market, and today I'm going to check out what they all mean, so don't go anywhere. There have been some bad races this season for Red Bull. Bahrain in particular was a tough one, with Max Verstappen finishing outside of the top 5, something that always indicates that things have gone wrong at Red Bull. But last weekend's Spanish Grand Prix was their worst weekend in terms of points scored since the 2021 British Grand Prix, when a crash with Lewis Hamilton sent Verstappen to hospital, and Sergio Perez's late pit stop to take away the fastest lap point from Lewis Hamilton ended his chance of a points finish. In Spain, it was a similar story, though the collision which caused Verstappen's problems was definitely his fault this time. The four-time world champion's 10-second penalty for purposely causing a collision with George Russell saw him finish 10th in the final classification, a shockingly bad result all things considered. Then there was Tsunoda. Yuki qualified last for the Spanish Grand Prix as Red Bull's second car struggles continued. To his credit, he recovered well to 13th position, but it was a fourth pointless finish in 7 races for Tsunoda, continuing the recent tradition of Red Bull's second driver struggling to get any performance out of a car that Max Verstappen finds success in. Red Bull have struggled to find a serviceable teammate for the four-time reigning world champion Verstappen since Sergio Perez's form started to decline in mid-2023 before dramatically disappearing in the early stages of last season. Perez was axed at the end of 2024 with Liam Lawson promoted from the Racing Bulls, before Tsunoda surprisingly replaced his former teammate after just 2 rounds of the 2025 season. Tsunoda has appeared to be an improvement on Lawson, with many people commenting before the season began that promoting him over Yuki would be a mistake, but making a judgment based on Lawson's 2 races is pretty tough. Now, this is hardly the first time that Red Bull have been unhappy with their second driver. Before Perez, Verstappen drove alongside Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, who were both moved on by Red Bull after struggling to match the Dutchman, but have gone on to establish themselves as well-respected drivers in the sport. While Red Bull's relative competitiveness to the rest of the field has fluctuated, there has been one constant during Red Bull's personnel problems, and that is Max Verstappen. Asked about Tsunoda's struggles and Red Bull's second drivers in Barcelona on Saturday, Verstappen told Dutch reporters, "Yuki isn't a pancake. This has been going on for a long time. Maybe that's a sign. Of what? That you can decide yourself." Whether he was referring to second drivers as far back as Gasly, or if he meant more recently with Perez's problems, the point is clear. The problem isn't that the second drivers aren't good enough. The question then should be, are Red Bull expecting too much from Verstappen's teammates? Are they actually underestimating just how good a driver he is? Or are Red Bull assuming that their car is far better than it is, blaming their problems on driver deficiencies rather than problems with their machinery? Whatever the answer, Verstappen's honest media statements supporting his teammates this season appear to be having an effect. While Red Bull have been keen to cut free drivers who haven't been able to match up to Verstappen in the past, they've now decided to take their time with Tsunoda. When asked in Barcelona about what the team can do in helping Tsunoda to feel more confident at the wheel of the RB21, Horner explained, "I think the only thing that we can do is give him time and support and try and get a setup that he's got confidence in. Driving these cars is all about confidence, and that's what he needs to find. I think he'll get there. He's fast. He's just got to piece it all together. We keep seeing flashes of performance. We just need to see him put it all together. I think he's capable of that." How long that time will last is a very interesting question though. Will he get half a season, a whole season, or maybe longer? While some of Red Bull's recent moves seem to indicate it could be less time than you might think. With Max Verstappen picking up 3 penalty points at the Spanish Grand Prix, he's 1 point away from a race ban, something that could create a serious problem for Red Bull. Looking further ahead, the team are running through their junior drivers quicker than they can replace them at the moment, and something needs to be done to hurry up the supply chain. But before I talk about the future of the Red Bull lineup, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch some more news and analysis on the 2025 F1 season, then make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So last year, Mercedes managed to get special dispensation for Andrea Kimi Antonelli's super license. The FIA agreed to waive the Max Verstappen rule, allowing Antonelli to get his super license before he turned 18, meaning he could participate in F1 sessions in preparation for his full-time drive this season. That decision by the FIA led to a slight change to the rules around super licenses. The change was that a clause was added which said, "At the sole discretion of the FIA, a driver judged to have recently and consistently demonstrated outstanding ability and maturity in single-seater Formula Car competition may be granted a super license at the age of 17 years old." Red Bull are trying to make use of this rule and have submitted a request for a super license exemption for Arvid Lindblad. Lindblad is currently competing in Formula 2 and meets all the other requirements for a super license. Now, Lindblad's junior record isn't a match for Antonelli's, which was almost unmatched to be fair, but he does sit third in the Junior Championship at the moment and seems likely to make a move to F1 when Red Bull have a space available for him at their second team. Red Bull's request will be discussed next week at the FIA World Motorsport Council meeting in Macau. If approved, Lindblad would be allowed to participate in F1 practice sessions and could even serve as a stand-in for one of the regular drivers. However, if Red Bull do need an immediate replacement for Verstappen, then they do have reserve driver Ayumu Iwasa available. Considering Isaac Hadjar's impressive performances for the Racing Bulls this season and all the praise he's received from Christian Horner, it wouldn't be a surprise to see him get a chance in Verstappen's seat and Iwasa come into the Racing Bulls for a race instead. However, there is someone else who's trying to work their way into a Red Bull seat. Valtteri Bottas has reiterated his availability to Red Bull's Formula 1 team for next season, but is aware his chances seem to be impacted by at least one person there who is not a big fan of mine. Although Bottas turns 36 in August, he's still keen to extend his F1 career, and his management has held talks with most of the grid in an attempt to find him a place. He had serious talks with Red Bull for a drive this season as well, but Red Bull eventually decided to go with Liam Lawson instead. This is believed to be because Red Bull senior motorsport advisor Helmut Marko doesn't rate Bottas highly and was known to be incensed by the first corner crash he caused in the Hungarian Grand Prix during Max Verstappen's 2021 title battle with Bottas's then Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton. It just got put down quite quickly because I think there's certain persons, or a person, within the Red Bull organization that for some reason is not a big fan of mine, Bottas said. I don't know if they look outside their academy. It's a tough one because it seems like it's not an easy car to drive. Obviously, Max is doing the job. He's really pushing almost beyond the limits of the car, and whoever has been alongside of him hasn't looked great. But I don't know. I just wonder if that car, to be driven fast, needs a driver with experience. That's my speculation, but I think they know that I'm keen to race. They know that I would be available for next year, but I don't know their mindset on that. For Red Bull, the problem is always going to be that their junior drivers aren't going to be happy playing second fiddle to Verstappen. They want to come into the sport and prove themselves, not take on a support role. Someone like Perez or Bottas, though, can play that role. They have the experience to be able to get the best out of a bad car, and they'll know their place within the team. But will Red Bull go for someone like a Bottas? Will they keep going with Tsunoda? Or have they decided that Arvid Lindblad is the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.